Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be recreating a recipe that a friend of mine actually sent to me. It is for a dessert. The woman who originally posted the video calls it a fudge cake, but from everything that I have read online, it doesn't appear that it is a cake-like texture at all. It's probably more like it's probably a little bit more like a mousse consistency from what I have read people posting on the actual video, or maybe somewhere in between a mousse and a fudge consistency. I guess we will find out once we actually make the dessert. The two ingredients that we are going to need for today's recipe is something that I feel like maybe a lot of people have on hand if you buy a lot of pumpkin around Thanksgiving time, but you don't necessarily use all of that pumpkin. That would be me. I bought a lot of pumpkin and canned pumpkin puree, I should say, in recipes to make like cupcakes and different things like that, pumpkin bread. And I always end up with like a couple cans of large pumpkin left that I don't use right away. And so I end up using it at some point, most generally. If not, it ends up going to waste. So, canned pumpkin, you're gonna need 1 cup of pumpkin puree, not the actual like pumpkin pie filling that's sweetened with all kinds of sugar and things. Pumpkin puree, and then you are going to need 1.5 cups of melted chocolate, so chocolate chips. I do use a low sugar chocolate chip, so the low sugar chocolate that I use has less than a carb per serving. So I do believe what I have currently is a milk chocolate. You could use semi-sweet chocolate or dark chocolate. Just remember, since you are mixing it with a pumpkin puree, you might want to go with a little bit of a sweeter chocolate, more like a milk chocolate versus a dark or a semi-sweet, because it certainly isn't going to probably be sweet enough because there is no sweetness in the pumpkin. Although maybe you could add your own sweetener. So we'll give it a try. I'm hopeful, but at the same time, I did read comments on the actual video, and there are folks that made the recipe that weren't necessarily too keen on the recipe. So we'll see what happens. It just sounded simple. I have the ingredients, so we're gonna go ahead and put it together. And if you're interested in seeing if this turns out, go ahead and keep watching. I have a very large can of 100% pure pumpkin. We will only use 1 cup of this. It is 45 calories per serving and right around 7 carbohydrates. So not too terrible considering we're only using 1 cup. And then for the chocolate, it has no sugar added. It is less than 1 carb of carbohydrates per serving, milk chocolate. It's by Bake Believe, and it's right around 60 calories per serving. And then the carbohydrate count will be less than 1 carb per serving. We will go ahead and use a whole 1.5 cups, which is basically the whole bag of this milk chocolate. And sorry if this is coming in a little bit blurry. My camera does not like to adjust very well sometimes. And then it's not melting wax like I called it earlier, but it's melting crystals. So that's what we're going to use in the chocolate. Okay, we have our Bake Believe no sugar added chocolate, and we are going to measure out 1.5 cups of milk chocolate chips, which essentially this bag is exactly 1.5 cups of chocolate chip. When I do go ahead and melt the chocolate, I will be adding those melting crystals. We have our large can of pureed pumpkin here, and I am just going to go ahead and measure out 1 cup of the pumpkin puree. Once I go ahead and get the pumpkin puree measured out into a cup, we will go ahead and get the chocolate melted in the microwave at 50% power, and I am going to add some of these melting crystals. I have to say I am really impressed with how this chocolate melted, the Bake Believe chocolate. I have used Lily's chocolate before, which is a lot more expensive, and it did not melt, not nearly as good as this kind. We're going to go ahead and get our pumpkin added to our NutriBullet blender. Don't mind the pumpkin all over my 1 cup measuring cup there. Sorry about that. And we're going to add the chocolate to that as well. We're going to go ahead and get all of our chocolate added to our little blender cup, and I will show you what things are looking like once I get that added. It is a very like soft and smooth consistency, I would say. I'm not sure how well my camera will show that, but it is. Oh, I will say, as I was mixing things in the little blender cup, the pumpkin and chocolate had a bit of an issue mixing together, so I kind of had to get a little scraper out and combine things a little bit better. As you can see, the consistency is really nice, almost like a pudding-like texture, and not sure how well you can see it. There is not a ton of it in the jar, so I was going to use a bigger bowl, but I'm going to go ahead and move my parchment paper to a smaller one that I think will work better. So once we got every little bit of that out of the blender, I did go ahead and put this in the refrigerator for about 3 hours so that it could set up. Pulled that out of the refrigerator in 3 hours, roughly, and this is what things are looking like. This is after I've removed the parchment paper. It doesn't look super pretty. I'm sure that there are other better ways that you could do this, but in the end, once I cut it, you know, like the center of it, the texture of it was really nice, and the center of it looked really good. So it turned out pretty good, I think, for what it is. Once I got a couple of the pieces cut up here, I did go ahead and give this a try. It is not bad. Is it my most favorite thing ever to eat? Certainly not. You can definitely taste the pumpkin in it. You can taste the chocolate in it as well. I would say that the pumpkin is a little bit more prevalent. So if you're someone who doesn't like pumpkin, then I would say that maybe you wouldn't like this. For 2 ingredients, and if you're trying to use up some, you know, pumpkin puree that's in your house, all in all, I think that it was pretty good. I would recommend if you have some pumpkin in your house that you're looking to get rid of. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. Usually when I film these outros to the videos, I have not already made whatever it is that I'm making, so I can't tell you right now whether or not the dessert turns out. You'll find that out in the middle of the video. So I hope that it turned out. You guys will have to let me know if you enjoyed it, if you plan on making it. From what I have heard, not every country can get canned pumpkin. So, you know, maybe this would be something that you would have to make from an actual pumpkin. If you do not have that in your country, you'll have to let me know. But yeah, if you do go ahead and decide to make the recipe, let me know if you enjoyed it. I am sure that once we make it, that there are probably going to be all kinds of ideas that jump into my head that I think about that I could probably use to recreate the recipe, kind of make it my own and make it taste a little bit better. Honestly, I've never thought of mixing chocolate and pumpkin. I think maybe I put chocolate chips and pumpkin bread before. That's a good combination, but I've never like made pumpkin puree and chocolate in this form before. So I'll be curious just as much as anybody else watching to know how that turns out. So again, thank you for watching today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I hope to catch you guys in another one again very soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.